hello guys. I welcome you all to the first video of our second chapter, which is electric potential and capacitor. In the previous videos, we discussed the first chapter. All the topic wise videos are made and I've uploaded that. All of those videos you can find it in a playlist. So if you want to watch any of those videos, you can always go to any videos description and then you can find a topic wise videos link there. You can click and watch this video. Alright, so let's get started. The first video of our second chapter, which is electric potential and capacitor. Electric potential and capacitor. All right, so now let us first understand what is electric potential. How do we define a electric potential? If you remember in the previous chapter, we discussed electric field. And what is electric field? At a point, force experienced by a unit positive charge at a point is nothing but electrical field at that point. So similarly, we define something called electric potential. Okay, and let us see what is that. First thing is electric potential. Okay, so what is electric potential? It is nothing but work done to bring a unit positive charge from infinity to a given point. From infinity to a given point is called potential at that point. Okay, so let's try to understand with an example. Say I have a charge q here. Okay, I have a charge q. Now I want to know how much is the potential of this charge at a distance r. Okay, now whatever work that I have to do to bring a 1 unit charge from very far away distance, approximately infinity distance. Okay, whatever work that I need to know, I need to do to bring this 1 unit charge from infinity to this point. Okay, why should I have to do a work? Because I have to do a work against the electric field, right? This is 1 unit positive charge. This will be repelled by this charge capital Q, right? So against that repulsive force, I have to do a work to bring this 1 unit charge from infinity to this point. So whatever work that I do to bring this 1 unit charge from infinity to this point, that is nothing but the electric potential at that point. Okay, now suppose, let us say, instead of 1 unit charge, let us say I am bringing a charge q. Okay, I am bringing a charge q from infinity. I'm bringing a charge q from infinity to this point. So let us say work done for that is w. I did w amount of work to bring a charge q from infinity to this point. Now potential is what? Work per unit charge, right? So then how will I find the potential? Potential is generally represented by v, capital V. Okay, so potential now at this point can be written as work per unit charge. So w is the work that I did to bring the charge q from infinity to this point. Now if I want to know how much work I will have to do per unit charge, then it is w by q. As simple as that. So the potential formula will become work done divided by the charge q. Okay, work done to bring the charge q from infinity to this point is w, and if I want to know work per unit charge, it is just w by q. Okay, that is potential at that point. Now what will be its unit? Its unit is gonna be, you can only see here, it is work per unit charge. So unit of work is joules and unit of charge is coulomb. So its unit is joules per coulomb or volt. Okay, joules per coulomb is also called as volt. Just like Newton meter is nothing but joules, or kg meter per second square is Newton. So like that, joules per coulomb is also called as volt. And is it a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? If you remember, the electrical field is a vector quantity, but potential is a scalar quantity, because here it is work by charge. So work is a scalar quantity. Okay, charge is also scalar. So work by charge is going to be a scalar quantity for us. That means there is no specific direction for potential and all. Potential is a point function. So at a given point, whatever work that you do, irrespective of the path you take, at a given point, the potential is always constant, fixed. Okay, so it is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity. All right, and now we will discuss a formula to find out potential at a point due to a point charge. See, we defined what is a potential. That is nothing but work done to bring a unit charge from infinity to a given point. Now, how much will that be work? How much work will I have to do bring a unit charge from infinity to a given point? Right? That we will calculate now. We will derive a formula to find out potential at a point due to any given charge q. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So this derivation, what we're going to do now, is very important. Whether you are in a CBSE board or a state board, in all boards this derivation is going to be important. So let's do that. Expression for potential, expression for potential at a point due to point charge. Expression for potential at a point due to point charge. Okay. So now let us consider a charge q. Let's say I have a charge q here. Okay, it's a point charge. Never mind, I'm drawing a little bigger circle over there. So it's a point charge. Let me take it as a small point here. So a point charge, a positive point charge is what I've considered here. Now I want to know what is the potential at a distance r from this charge q. At a distance r from this charge q, I want to know how much is the potential. Now to do that, to derive that, what we will do is we will consider a 1 unit charge at a distance x. A 1 unit positive charge. Okay, I'll consider 1 unit positive charge at a distance x. At a distance x, I have considered 1 unit positive charge. Now at this point, how much will be the the force that 1 unit positive charge will experience? That is nothing but electrical field only, right? Okay, the 1 unit positive charge, whatever the 1 unit positive charge experiences force, right? That is nothing but electrical field at that point. So electrical field at this point, or the force experienced by this 1 unit positive charge, is nothing but the electrical field, which is k into capital Q divided by x square, because this 1 unit positive charge is at a distance of x from this capital Q. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to push it to the left. Okay, I want to push it to the left by a small distance dx. Okay, I want to push it to the left by a small distance dx. For that I surely have to do a work, because there is a repulsive force F. Okay, against this repulsive force I have to push this 1 unit positive charge by a distance dx. I surely will have to do a work for that. Okay, so work done is what? Force into displacement. Now how much force will I have to apply on this charge? The same force F I will apply to the left. See, this charge is experiencing a force F to the right. I'll apply the same force on this and move it by a small distance dx. Now you might be thinking, Arre, if you are applying the same force F to the left, then the net force will become 0. How is the charge going to move? Right, this is the question you might be having. Now let us try to understand. Let us say the charge is already in a motion. If the charge is already in a motion, to maintain the motion constant, or to maintain the velocity constant, the net force on that should be 0, because acceleration should be 0 if the velocity has to be constant. So to maintain the motion, I'm going to apply this force F to the left, so that net force becomes 0 and the the charge moves at a constant velocity. So how much work I will have to do? The work that I will have to do is F into dx. Correct? F into dx. Right? So now listen very carefully here. The dx, as you move to the left, what is happening to your x value? It is decreasing, right? Because you are measuring this x from the charge capital Q. Now as you move to the left, the x value is decreasing, right? So dx is going to be negative now. Dx is going to be negative. So I will have to write this as minus f into dx, because dx is going to be negative, or in other words, I'll put it like this: f into minus dx. Okay, f into minus dx, because as you move to the left, your value of x is decreasing, so dx is negative. So now how much is the force F? It is k capital Q by x square. I'll keep the minus x outside into dx. This is small work done to move a unit charge by a distance dx when it is at a distance of x from the charge. So small work done to move this 1 unit charge by a distance dx when it is at a distance of x is k cube by x square into dx. Now I want to know how much work I have to do to bring this charge from where to where? From infinity to this point. Okay, I have to do a work. I want to know how much total work I will have to do to bring this same 1 unit charge from infinity to a given point. Maybe I can consider this point as P. Okay, so in between somewhere the small work done is known to us. So now if I want to know the total work, I will have to do integration. Integration is nothing but what again? Just a summation. So I will find out all the small work done right from infinity to this point P. So I will add all small work done to bring the 1 unit charge from infinity to given point P. So when you add all those small work done, you will get the total work done to bring this unit charge from infinity to this point P. Okay, so now that process is nothing but integration. Okay, process of finding all the small work done and adding them together is nothing but integration. So upon integrating from infinity to r, we get what do we get? Integration of dw is equals to minus k cube by x square, I'm just taking the minus outside, into dx. Now from where to where I should integrate? From infinity to a distance r. Now what do we do? At infinity the potential we take it as 0. Okay, the potential at infinity is taken as 0, and at a distance r from this charge q we take the potential to be v. So when I'm integrating, I will be substituting the limits. This is called as lower limit and this is called upper limit. Now where to where I'm bringing the charge? From infinity to r. So from where you're starting infinity, that you put at the bottom, that is called as lower limit, and up to where you're bringing this 1 unit charge, up to a distance r, that is upper limit. I'll put it here. So when you are at infinity, what is the work done? 0. You haven't moved anywhere. So when at infinity you have not moved anywhere, so work done is 0. Okay, and then when you have moved to a distance r from the charge capital Q, when you are at a distance r, there you have done some amount of work, and that work is only called as potential. At that point I'm taking the v as a potential. Okay, as simple as that. Now integration of dw is nothing but w, total work done from 0 to v. See, we substitute the limit. See, all these things you will study in mathematics. So there is a entire chapter dedicated in mathematics called integration. There you will study in detail of how to substitute these limits and all those things. Okay, now I'm giving you just basic idea of all these things. So I've told you what is integration. Integration is nothing but summation in physics. That's what we are doing. And lower limit is what? Upper limit is what? Okay, I've explained all those things. Now here, what is constant? Kq is constant. You bring it out, right? Then integration of 1 by x square dx. Now there's a general formula. Integration of x power n dx is x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Okay, and if you remember, don't get confused with integration and differentiation. D by dx of differentiation of x power n is what? N into x power n minus 1. Actually integration is a reverse process of differentiation. Okay, for time being you remember that integration of x power n dx is x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So if you follow the same procedure here, minus kq, this is nothing but integration of x power minus 2 dx. Okay, now compare these two. In place of n you have minus 2. So what will this become? I forgot to put the limit. It is infinity to r. The limit is from infinity to r, and if you simplify that further, you get that as minus kq. This will become x power minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1. Limit from where to where? Infinity to r. After integrating, we put the limit like this. We put one vertical line and put the lower limit at the bottom and the upper limit at the top. Okay, and now what do I get? Minus kq into, this will become x power minus 1 divided by minus 1. So minus into minus will become plus. Okay, minus into minus will become plus. So plus kq into 1 by x, limit from infinity to r. And in the LHS, if you substitute the limit, in place of w I will have to substitute capital V, then put minus sign. Again in place of w I will have to substitute the lower limit. So when you're substituting the limit, in place of w we'll be substituting the upper limit first, then put minus sign, and in place of w we'll be substituting the lower limit. So capital V minus 0 is what you get. because in place of w, first I'll substitute the upper limit, which is v, then put minus sign, and in place of w will put the lower limit, which is 0 in this case. Okay, and do the same thing on the RHS. What will you get? kq into 1 by r minus 1 by infinity. That is, in place of x, first I'll substitute the upper limit r, then put a minus sign. Again, in place of x, I'll substitute the lower limit, which is infinity, and that is v minus 0 is v. Now what is 1 by infinity? 1 by infinity is 0. Okay, then what do I get the potential as? Potential is kq by r. Now this is the formula for potential at a point due to a charge q. Okay, very simple, easy. Now remember, electrical field at a distance, if you have a charge q here, okay, if you have a charge q here at a distance r, from this charge, the electrical field is given by how much? kq by r square. kq by r square. And at the same point, if you want to know how much is the potential, potential is kq divided by simply r, no square and all. Okay, now from this only you can obtain the relation between electrical field and potential. You see that, right? So what is the relation? Electric field is nothing but potential divided by the distance where you are finding the electric field. Correct? Now E is equals to V by R, I can write. Correct? Now E equal to V by R. So we will also discuss in detail about the relation between electric field and potential, but I'm just giving you a hint here. Okay, all right. So up till here you have to derive if they ask you to obtain an expression for potential at a point due to a point charge. Okay, and now a small explanation about the diagram also you will have to write. That is, consider a charge capital Q. Okay, let P be a point at a distance r where the potential has to be found. Okay, now let us consider a 1 unit positive charge at a distance x from this charge q, and the small work done to move this charge q by a small distance dx towards the charge capital Q is dw, which is given by f into minus dx. You can start deriving from there. Okay, simple. All right, so now we will write one important note here. The note is potential at a point due to a positive charge. Potential at a point due to positive charge. Potential at a point due to positive charge is positive, and potential at a point due to negative charge, potential at a point due to negative charge is negative. The second note that we're going to write here is potential at a point due to many charges. Many charges is sum of potential due to individual charges. Okay, now what is the meaning of that? We'll write both. We'll summarize both the notes, the point that I've written in the note. Let us say I have a charge q1 here, minus q2 here, q3 minus q4. Okay, these are the four charges that are in space. Now I want to know what is the potential at this point. Okay, let us say that point is at a distance of r1. Okay, let us say that point is at a distance of r1 from the charge q1, and let us say the charge minus q2 is at a distance of r2, and the charge q3 is at a distance of r3. Alright, so this is r3 and this is r4. Now if I want to know the total potential at this point, so what will I have to do? Add the potential due to all the individual charges. Correct? Now you look at this charge q1 is positive. They have not given any sign, that means it's positive. So what will be the potential due to charge q1? q1 divided by distance is what? r1. So just write r1 as it is, plus potential at this point due to the second charge minus q2. So I've already told in the first note, that is potential at a point due to positive charge is positive, potential at a point due to negative charge is negative. So then potential due to this minus q2 at this point will be k into minus q2 divided by R2. ठीक है, and then potential at the same point due to the third charge will be K Q3 by R3, and due to fourth charge it will be K into minus Q4 divided by R4. ठीक है, very simple, right? So this is how you will find out potential at a point due to system of many charges. ठीक है, potential at a point due to system of many charges. Now see, here we are just adding the potential. We are not finding any resultant and all. So in the electrostat, like in the first chapter, if I am supposed to find out electrical field at a point due to many charges, then I cannot add the electrical field directly. I have to find the resultant of all the electrical fields, right? Okay. But in case of potential, since it's a scalar quantity, I can directly add them. Remember, if any quantity is a vector quantity, then you cannot directly add them. You have to find the resultant of that. But since the potential is a scalar quantity, I can directly add them. No need to find any resultant and all. There's no meaning also for that. Okay. So very simple, very, very important also again. Okay, remember it. So now we will move to the next topic, which is potential energy of system of many charges. Okay, or potential energy of system of charges. Okay, right? So potential energy system of charges. See, we define something called potential. Potential is what? Work done for work done to bring 1 unit charge from infinity to a given point. Now let us say potential at a point is V. Potential at a point is V. And now if I want to know how much work I will have to do to bring a charge Q from infinity to that point, how much will be the energy, how much will be the work? V into Q. Because if I say potential at a point is V, which it means what? I have done V amount of work to bring 1 unit charge. Now instead of 1 unit charge, if I want to bring a charge Q from infinity to a given point where the potential is V, then the work done will be how much? V into Q. Remember that. Okay, right? So now let us say I have charges at the corners of a triangle, equilateral triangle. Okay, I have charge Q1 here and Q2 here and Q3 here. So I have these three charges at the corners of an equilateral triangle, and let us say the sides are, say this is R1 and this is R2 here and this is R3 here. Now I want to know potential energy of the system. So what is the meaning of potential energy of system? It is nothing but work done to assemble the charges at the corners of a triangle. How much work that I did to bring these charges and assemble it at the corners of the triangle. So whatever energy that I spent is nothing but potential energy of the system. So let us see how do I find it. I'm just writing it as PES, which means potential energy of the system. So now let us first bring the charge Q1 from infinity and keep it at this point. Okay. Now there are no other charges in the vicinity. I'm just bringing the charge Q1 from infinity and keeping at that point. Let us say this point is here. Now since there are no other charges in any in the surrounding, to bring this 1 unit this charge Q1 from infinity to this point A, I don't have to do any work because there are no electric fields, there are no other charges in the vicinity, so I don't have to do any work to bring this charge Q1 from infinity to this point A. So zero work is done. Now let us bring the charge Q2 from infinity to this point. Okay. So how much work will I have to do to bring a unit charge from infinity to this point? This point is at what distance? R1 from Q1. See, if I bring Q2 from infinity to this point, I surely will have to do a work. Why? Because there is a Q1 already present there. So Q1 will repel this, right? So against Q1 I have to bring this charge Q2. Okay. So how much work will I have to do? So first we'll find out how much work I will have to do to bring a 1 unit charge first. Okay. To bring a 1 unit charge and keep it at this point, the work that I will have to do is K Q1 by R1, because that is nothing but potential at this point due to this charge Q1. Okay. Now instead of 1 unit charge, how much charge have I brought? Q2. So how much work I would I would have done? K Q1 by R1 into Q2, right? Because K Q1 by R1 is the work done to bring a 1 unit charge from infinity to this point. But now I have brought Q2 amount of charge. So therefore work done will be K Q1 Q2 by R1. So this is the work done to bring the second charge. Now we'll bring a third charge. Now when I bring a third charge, I have to do work against the first charge, and also I have to do a work against the second charge. Okay. Now let us find out how much work I will have to do against the first charge. So first the third charge is at what distance from the first charge? R3. So potential at this point, okay, potential at this point due to this charge Q1 will be K Q1 by R3. That is potential at this point, which is nothing but work done to bring a 1 unit charge. Now I brought a charge Q3. So therefore work done will be K Q1 by R3 into Q3. right? And now the work done to bring this charge q3 from infinity to this point against q2 will be how much? K q2 q3 divided by r2. K q2 q3 divided by r2. So this is nothing but potential energy of the system of charges. Okay, in this case potential energy of system of these three charges is this. Okay, now remember, suppose if the potential energy of the system is negative, it means the charges are bound. It means the charges are bound. So then to release the charge, to separate the charges and take them to infinite distance apart, I will have to do positive value of that much amount of energy. Remember this. Okay, I will write this here. If potential energy of system is negative, if potential energy of system is negative, then the system is bound. The system is bound, and therefore we will have to supply positive value of potential energy of the system to separate, or you can say to disassemble them. Okay, we allow to supply positive value of potential energy of the system to disassemble them. Okay, all right, it's very important. Okay, if potential energy of the system is already positive, then you don't have to do any work. Moment you leave them, they will run away from each other. Okay, all right. So now this is potential energy of system of three charges that I have taken. Suppose if I want to know potential energy of system of two charges, let us say there are only q1 and q2. Let me also call this as B and C. Let us say there are only charges q1 and q2 at A and B respectively. Then potential energy of q1 and q2 alone, if I want to know, there are no charge q3. I have not brought q3 from anywhere to this point C. Okay, only q1 and q2 are there. Then the potential energy of the system will be what? To bring the charge q1, I don't have to do any work, but to bring a charge q2, I will have to do a work k q1 q2 by r1. That will be the potential energy of system of two charges q1 and q2 separated by distance r1. All right. So now we will discuss potential energy of two charges in external electrical field. Potential energy of system of two charges in external electrical field. Okay. Potential energy of system of two charges in external electrical field. Potential energy of system of two charges in external electrical field. Now let us say there is a uniform electrical field going from left to right. Okay, so let's say we have a uniform electrical field going from left to right. That's one electric field, that's my another electrical field line. Okay, going from left to right. All right, so now let us say potential at this point here is, let's say potential at this point is VA, and let us say potential at this point is VB, and the external electrical field is E, and also let us say the separation between these 2 points is D. Take a distance between these 2 points basically. Now I am going to bring a unit charge or a charge q1, okay, from infinity to this point A. Okay, I have kept this charge q1 at point A, or where the potential is VA, and I'll keep a charge q2 at this point B where the potential is VB. Okay, now I want to know how much is the potential energy of the system of these two charges. Now the potential energy of the system of these two charges is going to be, first I have to bring a 1 unit charge from infinity to this point against this external electrical field E is VA. Okay, now how much charge have I brought? Q1. So I have kept a charge q1 at a point where the potential is VA. So how much will be the potential energy? Then that will be VA into q1. Okay, that will be the potential energy of this charge q1 at this point. Now how much will be the potential energy of this charge q2 at this point? That will be V into q2, VB into q2, right? So that means to bring this charge q2 from infinity to this point, I will have to do a work against the electrical field. So that is VB into q2. I will also have to do a work against the charge which is already present at this point. Correct, na? Q1. So how much work will I have to do against q1? Against electrical field, the work done is VB into Q2. Against this charge present at A, Q1, how much work will I have to do? K Q1 Q2 divided by D. Correct, no? So to bring this charge Q2 from infinity to this point against Q1, the work done will be K Q1 Q2 by D. Okay, so this is the potential energy of system of two charges in external electrical field, where VA, VB are potentials at point A and point B due to external electrical field. Alright, with this we will end this video here. We will continue the rest of the things in the next video. Till then, have a happy learning. Thank you all. Bye bye.